Hey guys, welcome back to releasethecraftin. Priscilla here with another day and another edition, another installment in my multi-part series on the hashtag GoAskAliceJJ, which is a month-long Craft With Me challenge hosted by Audrey at Odds and Ends and Dawn over at Mystic Dawn Art. Sorry I had to yawn. I was fighting it. Anyways, they're hosting this month-long collaboration. That's like an open thing where you craft along and you make junk journals and Alice-related stuff. And I made a Alice folio that we have been making together here. So we're putting in the last of it on. We're going to do the cover piece today. We're going to do the final touches. I have an idea for a closure, and I got an idea for what we're going to do for this little hangy bit of string, which is going to have a little charm on it. So I had to dig into my bead supplies, which I have not opened for a while because, as you guys know, my wrist is all bunged and bangled. So I can't do all the twisty stuff that I would normally do to make jewelry. So my jewelry making has been on hold for a bit. Although, I do have like 90% of a vampire-related jewelry collection that I was going to drop and do like a big sale of. I don't know if anyone's interested. I could do that soon. Now is the time. It's always the time for vampire shit, right? I just remembered that. Like, that just came through in my brain right now. It was like, oh yeah, you have a whole bunch of jewelry that you made before your wrist got all mangle-wrangled. So at any rate, I did dig into my stash to find some stuff because I am also planning at some point to make an Alice in Wonderland themed jewelry set. And, I got some charms and stuff. So, I have these bead caps that are a little teapot. And I'm hoping that they fit on the beads that I picked really nicely because the beads that I picked are really cute. In fact, I'm a little bit obsessed with them because they are real porcelain. But yeah, so here's like the little bottom is the feet of the coffee pot, or the teapot, sorry. I'm having coffee, so my brain is there. And then here is the little top part of the teapot. And then you put a bead in the middle, and it's the teapot, right? So I have these porcelain beads, and they are actual porcelain, and then they have like a glaze on them that has crackled. Ooh. And I'm hoping that it's big enough to sit in the middle. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and find another bead. But see, like how pretty these are. I don't know if it's in focus. It's just my grungy nails. Don't look at those too close. But look how pretty. So yeah, I'm hoping that works. I also have these little orange mushrooms. I have like a couple colors of them, but I don't know, I just thought the orange would look really cute with this like pink and green motif we've got going here. So I have a head pin, and hopefully it doesn't slide off. Yeah, so that's good. And then we put our little porcelain bead in there. It is a funky little shape, so it might not sit on this really well. I mean, I guess it sits. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a slightly larger bead that's supposed to go in here, but I kind of just like it as it is. Is that okay? I think it's okay. Oh yeah, and my printer is still being the very best boy in the background, so try not to pay too much attention to him. And then, oh, I didn't grab it. I need to grab my bead looper because I can't do it myself. So, hold on. I don't know why I acted like I couldn't have done that on film. It's on my desk. I just had to walk to the end of it. It's a very long desk, but I could have done that with you guys. So this is like a one-stop bead looper. I mean, yeah, I think you need this is like an 8mm. Oh, it doesn't say. It's like if it's not an 8, it's a 6mm. I'm gonna say it's probably about 6mm. So you need like an 8, maybe a 10mm bead to fill this in all the way. But I'm okay with it being a little wonky. It's Alice. Plus, it's a real porcelain thingy, right? So, like, that's what teapots are made of. It has to be this bead. And this is mostly me just coaching myself into it, like talking myself into it and not trying to convince you guys. I'm trying to convince me. So, get that out of there. And then we have our little loop, which is great because I can't do that anymore. Just so frustrating. Because I really do miss making all my bead stuff, and I made a bunch of cool beady friends and all these things, and then I can't even do it. So I had to even put like my subscription for Bargain Bead Box on hold because, like, there's no point in getting boxes and boxes and boxes of beads if I can't make anything with them. Even though the FOMO is real, because I love getting that box. But, yeah, I was just piling up beads while I was convalescing. And I was like, this is becoming a problem. This is getting goofy. And I was really sad because even, like, I can't remember when I canceled. I feel like I got the Halloween box, but I'm not certain. Sorry, I'm looking now. Oh, I think the last one I got was Sweater Weather, because that's the one here on top. Although granted, a couple of them have fallen off my cart, so who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I think I wanted the Halloween one. If I didn't get it, I wanted it. So now it's a matter of getting these on here, which I suppose perhaps a crimp bead would do the trick. Although I feel like with crimp beads and this particular cord, they eventually fail. I could just tie it on. I could just tie it on. Or could I give the crimp bead? How much work is this going to do? It's not going to do that much work. A crimp bead will be fine. I don't know why I'm talking myself out of stuff that's perfectly reasonable. And I know that they're two different metals and that would annoy some people. It also annoys me. So don't worry. We are all equally annoyed. Crimp bead. Oh, why not? Why not mix up more metal? Jump ring. Okay. So, I'm going to give myself some slack to work with here because otherwise I'm going to drive myself crazy. Crimp bead goes first. Then jump ring. And then through the crimp bead. And then we're just going to bring it down. And very carefully sliding down the cord. I'm going to trim off the excess bit, but I don't want there to be a lot of excess. I know this Band-Aid is not making it cute, but I cracked my nails, so it would be less cute if you could see the damage I did. And we smash. Smash, smash, smash. I'm going to give it a tug, make sure that we're nice up and against that ring so it doesn't go anywhere. And there we go. So that's not going anywhere. I could have used a smaller crimp bead now that I'm looking at it, but yeah. And then I'm going to turn this because the ends are facing in. And we're going to open and attach. Cute little charms. And then we close. Oh, are you done printing? No, you're out of ink. I can see it. That's okay. I'll fix it in a second. Then I'm not going to cut flush with this because it's going to slide right out. But I am going to go like right about here. So it's just not a big ol' sticky outy guy. And then if you want to, if you're not feeling confident in this like being secure, you can always come back in with like a dab of super glue, which I'll probably do once I get off camera. But now we have our little charm. So it's cute. Wait, which way? This way. And then, so. Okay, that's all the ASMR you're getting from me. And then I did decide I wanted to do a proper closure. So, get out of here. What is that? Oh, it's black ink from the card. That's what happens when you put stuff in, like, right away. Our book is 6 inches, so we need to find 3 inches. I was gonna make a really inappropriate joke, but I'm not gonna make it now. Because my grandma watches these, you guys. So, 3 inches. And then we need our crocodile. And we need an eyelet. And I'm only doing the one on the cover. I thought about doing like the back somehow, but then I was like, you know what, you don't actually need it. And I guess I used all my shiny gold flowers. So we're going to use a dull brass one. Although, we could use one of the rosy gold color ones. Yeah. Those don't get enough use. I also think I've had those like flowers for like a bajillion trillion years. That's the exact measurement. I'm gonna go one more down. There we go. Yeah, because I want to be in with the paper on the inside like that, instead of right up to the edge of it, just for like a nicer, cleaner look. And then we are going to stick this in here. We are going to stick this in here and smash. Okay. And then, like I told you guys, these are ugly on the other side, so a little extra smashing is required. I don't know what it is with the flower ones. They just never curl nicely like you would want them to. But that's okay. No, you're not done yet because you didn't actually put your closure in there, Priscilla. I got some sari silk in this nice pretty cream color. I think it's Ecru, E-C-R-U is the actual name of it, but it's like an off-white cream color. Because I didn't want it to be like anything that was going to clash with the final result. Give that a nice tug, and it's still going to be flat enough that like our top piece is going to slide over it just fine. Now we can reload our pocket. Why am I struggling with this pocket so much? I don't understand. What is happening here? A little time tag. And our stage. So like when we're done, it'll wrap around. And then it'll tuck in the back. But that's fine. It'll lock it in place. And then we'll have some strings this here. But this isn't cute. Oh, I think it's because it's all been torn out. Because, you know, like they knot them all together when you make the bundles, and I just go, when I rip it out there. Sound effect included. Okay, that's better looking. So that'll be our closure. That's done. That's done. Now on to you. So, I have my little thing. It's a pebbles thing. I'm going to do Curiouser. I'm going to make sure I spell it right. 2. But I'm not going to make you guys sit here and listen to me while I try to spell it out on there. So hold on a second. Okay. So I got Curiouser and on here. And I'm hoping I don't stamp this crazy. Because I'm not doing it again. But hopefully we get a good impression. And then I always have to wipe off the other letters because they sneak their way in. Okay. And with confidence. Well, that was confident. Just some ink off. And we're going to stamp Curiouser again. But I think because we can only fit so much on top, I don't know why I thought I could fit the entire sentence up there. We're gonna do it on the bottom. So, you know, like this way when you pull the tag out, you reveal the whole quote. Well, that stamped way better than the first time. Maybe I need to start stamping this on paper first and then coming back to my final project. At any rate, it's on there, and that's all that matters. So we can go over here, and then hopefully that dries quick, because I'm sticking it back in the pocket. Ooh, string overboard. Oh, it's all in the business. What happened here? Okay. Oh yeah, I like that. There's your end. And then you have like the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so this can go aside now. This is going to go sit over here and think about what it's done and what it's going to do. Hopefully, crimes against the government. And then we're gonna grab this, our focal point, our CD piece here. And the first thing I'm going to do is attempt to get the plastic out without destroying it. And I think last time I discovered that if you got this wet, it would come off. So let's just test this theory. I'm going to put in a new piece of acetate. Or am I? Do I need to? No. No, I don't. So this entire step was wasted, except that now I've already done it. So let's see if it actually works for future projects. And we'll just put the new piece of acetate in anyways. Well, the answer is it makes the paper soft and damaged. So, no. I don't know where I heard this, that adding a little bit of water would make it come off. It does make the paper come off. So, ignore that. That was bad advice from the corner of my brain that I thought it in. While that dries, I think the fastest way I've gotten them out, the acetate, the little plastic film out, is with whatchamacallit, a heat tool. Because this plastic cannot hold up to heat in any way, shape, or form. I'm looking for the one that is this size. Oh, look at that. It's a lot of production to find the right one in the first go. Now this one's a little bit smaller. You know, it's about this much smaller. It would shrink down our little hole. But that's also okay. So, this going to the side to think about it. And when it's done, and we need to pick a piece of paper that's going to look cute on the cover. If you were the paper pad, where would you go? Let me see. Where is my folio? Something that'll look cute in the cover. That would be more pink, but it is a viable option. Ooh. That's an option. It's a very good option. We did that one. Ooh, I kind of like the pink pebbly bits because it matches the white pebbly bits. It's all the paper I like. You know, like I really like this. I like the mushrooms on the other one. That is probably my choice though, but just in case, I don't want to miss an opportunity staring me straight in the face. Oh, not you. Not you. Busy guy. Do I want to mix patterns? I'm looking in the camera. No. The green is nice. The green is really nice. The green has now won the new position here. Sorry, I probably should have selected these before I started filming, but once again, I am bringing you along for my creative process or whatever story I'm telling myself. Okay, so yeah, we're using this one. And apparently, I used this sheet before. I don't remember ever using this sheet. But I only have one left, so I must have used it at some point. Definitely not in this project, but I can't remember what project I would have used it in because I don't recognize this. What I'm going to do is cut a section out of here. And then that's what we're going to cut our circle frame out of. And then don't worry, that cool black paper is coming back. It's coming back. Let me just look with my elf eyes and see. So about here. Well, that was about half an inch longer, but neither here nor there. Although my platform might have feelings about it. We'll find out together. Well, separately, because I'll check first. No, my platform has feelings about it. So, get out of the way. Oh my god. Okay, and that's unofficial measuring. I'm like, I'm not really gonna worry because this is smaller. This wet, soggy piece of garbage is smaller. So I'm just gonna try to center this as much as I can in the big piece, and then we'll make it fit on here. But I have to lift. Oh, look at that, sticky notes stuck to everything. Oh, there's all sorts of crud in here. I need to find a new spot for this. I moved it underneath my craft table, and it's like very close to my trash. So it's just catching everything. Every time I pick it up, there's like some other thing going on where I'm like, huh. Okay. So that's mostly centered. And that's all I need it to be. As we cut out our window. So we have a cool circle to use for later, and then we have our window. Man, getting a pair of circle die was like the smartest thing I ever did. I use them so much. Away before you forget. And then through the magic of editing. Okay, and by the magic of editing, I meant going to go get one that wasn't wet. But this is how we do. So, before we do the forgetting, we're going to do the inking. Thank you. Your applause feeds me. Oh my gosh, so you guys remember the neighbor that I had that had the cat house / daycare? They're moving. They're moving out. So I came home. Watch this be slightly too big. And it is. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. Only slightly irritated. It's okay. It's fine. There's a solution to everything. Yeah, so the neighbor downstairs, they're moving, okay? I need a paintbrush. That's what I'm looking for. So, like, I came home from the movie, and, whatchamacallit, I'm in the car with my friend, right? And I'm waiting because I am antisocial as hell. Oh, there's still blue paint on this. That's fine. Like, you know, so I don't want to have to, like, talk to my neighbors or their friends that are helping them move, is basically what's happened. And so I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And we end up, like, sitting there, and we're talking about these two guys who are, like, moving this mattress out onto the top of the car. And then, you know, I'm just sort of joking, and I'm like, you know, because when you're moving, there's always, like, one person who's doing the bulk of the labor. And then there's, like, another person on the sideline who maybe helped you move a little bit, but, like, now they're taking a break for no reason, or whatever their personal reasons are. And then they become, like, the director of the move. Because, you know, the guy's, like, standing there, and he's watching his friend, like, try to position this mattress correctly on the top of the car. And he's, like, taking a break. He's standing around. He's like, do this, do that, move it over here. Now you gotta move it to this side. Like, he's telling all this stuff. Mind you, it's all in Spanish, and I speak very little Spanish. But I understand a fair bit. So, you know, I was able to pick up quite a few words, but I could not repeat them in any sort of legible context to be, like, fluent in the language. And surprisingly, the blue is helping me see where I'm going. So that's a perk. Just still having paint left on this brush. But, you know, so we're just sort of, like, laughing, clowning, joking about this guy being, like, the director of the move or whatever, right? And then finally I'm like, okay, they're going back inside the house. I'm gonna, you know, risk it. I'm gonna run out here and try to run up the stairs as fast as possible so that I don't have to talk to them or be social in any capacity. Because, you know, by this point in the day, my social battery is gone. It's empty. I'm on my way home. I'm looking at my house. I have, you know, done my socializing for the day. I am complete. Sorry, I just want to see if I can make sure I get all the blue off there. And so, in doing so, you know, as I'm making my mad dash for freedom, the freaking, the guy, the moving director, okay, stops me on the stairs, because, like, as he's walking by, he's like, Buenos Aires, and I'm like, oh, Buenos Aires, and I keep going, and he's like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, no. So then I'm like, you know, Nevada, like, I'm not trying to talk to this guy. And then he's like, okay, so I'm like, oh, okay, Las Vegas. So now we're dealing with, like, a language barrier, right? So I'm like, oh, here we go. The socializing you didn't want to do has now become harder and more awkward because you don't know this man's language. And then he asked me if I'm married, but he does it in pantomime, right? So he's like, married, and I'm like, obviously not. So I'm like, no. And he's like, why? Which, like, why do men do that? What do they ask? I've never like heard someone tell me they're single and then been like, why? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know? Like, also, thank goodness you asked, sir, because I can now give you, like, my 12-part presentation on exactly why I am batshit crazy and should not be approached or dated in any capacity. Like, what? Like, I don't understand what the purpose of this question is. How did none of it get here? Okay. Apparently I flicked too aggressively. That was the problem. This is such a minor detail that's, like, nobody's going to notice, and I probably could have just covered it up with a marker, but here we are, making a bigger mess for the sake of art. So, like, yeah, so when he's like, why? And then I was, like, also just like, sir, we don't speak the same language. Like, I don't have enough, like, random words in Spanish to explain to you every single one of my problems, and also my raging feminism that keeps me from taking men seriously when they approach me. You know, so, like, I was just like, no reason, because I want to, you know, and he was just like, oh, can I have your phone number? And I was just like, no. And he's like, oh, and he looks like, you know, like, stabbed through the heart, right? But then he goes, but I like you. And I was like, I don't care. You know, like, I don't care. Which, again, why? Why? So icky. But I like you. I don't give a fuck. So do toddlers, and I don't have those either. Like, God. So, then I'm like, okay, great. And I have to run up the stairs now and be like, please don't follow me or do anything weird, sir. Because my no wasn't a complete answer for you. And now that I am completely uncomfortable in my skin and need to go scrub my brain of this interaction, I will now be locking my doors securely and hoping that you don't come up the stairs to try to convince me to give you my number because you like me. Because crazy thing about this is that this is a mutual interaction and I don't like you. Which is the other thing too. I was like, nothing about this approach has appealed to me in any way, shape, or form. I didn't really consider the guy to be super good looking either. So like, when you're not super good looking, then you have to rely on your other things like your personality and your charm and your sense of humor. And I can't communicate with this man, so we're already at a disadvantage. And then on top of that, you can't take no for an answer. So like, yeah, you weren't winning the personality award here either. Making this worse as time goes on by being, I don't know, airborne with it. But I was just like, oh, God. The entirety of this interaction that I thought was going to be really weird if I like had to say hi and good morning to everybody, as I ran up the stairs, became a bajillion times more weird and uncomfortable. Because this guy was like, hey, this girl running up to her stairs, like up to her apartment, definitely should be stopped and spoken to and hit on at this moment in time. This is a great time. In the middle of me helping my friends move is a perfect time to try to flirt and get somebody's number. Which I can just go ahead and put this out here as a PSA on behalf of all women. No, it's not. It's a bad time, especially if I'm not the one moving and you're not helping me, like, move in. It's a bad time. But also, like, his friend was, like, laughing at him in the way that was, like, oh, brother, like, I can't believe you're doing this again. And I was like, take a cue from your friend here, because your friend knows that this is not the move. And yet here you are, being like, why are you single? How come you won't date me? And give me your phone number, because I like you. And I just, blah, blah. And this is why I can't take men seriously when they approach me. So this is going to be fun, because I'm probably going to end up accidentally and unaccidentally melting out the embossing powder as we go. And I already got to make a bunch of corrections, but I was getting frustrated trying to clean it up. So cover your ears. So that's how you make a taco. This is what happens when you heat up the plastic in a CD envelope. It shrinks. But it's okay. Oh, I tore it. I should act like I know how to get stuff out of stuff when I do these things. But also, like, I have tools. Okay. Without tearing more of this, boom, And this little piece is still stuck in here. I don't know why, I find it easier to pull this out after it's melted than when it isn't. And then if it's still stuck, you can always go back with your heat tool and apply more heat until it peels away from all of the glues. But that is the fastest way I know to get the plastic out of the center. And obviously don't touch it when it's molten plastic either, because your fingies. But it does cool down pretty fast, so come on. Okay. I understand that you are committed to being inside of this. I wish I had your level of commitment. Ew. Does that sound like someone stomping right up my stairs? Okay, so now we fixed the parts that didn't get covered in the way that would have been just much easier had I just, you know, taken the plastic out first. For this very tiny bit that no one's going to see that I could have covered up with a marker, but I wanted it to be fancy, so I destroyed it first, which is probably appropriate for most things. Okay, so we try it one more time. Oh, do you hear that? If you're hearing chittering birds, it's my freaking swallows. They are back. And you do have to say my freaking swallows. That is how you know that they're mine in particular and nobody else's. Because I saved their lives and now they come back to my porch every year. Call me the mother of swallows. Because you see what happened. I suppose I should explain that in detail. Was that there was a nesting pair. They were nesting on the light above my door, much to my neighbor's chagrin. I think I've told this story before, but in case I haven't, I might have only told it on Patreon. But I don't remember things that I say. So once more with feeling. So they were nesting there. They were nesting kind of stupidly. In a not very smart, very bright way, without a lot of purchase. So they kept laying eggs, and then the eggs kept rolling out of their spit and vomit nest, which is how they put it together up there. Whatchamacallit, so the eggs kept getting smashed, and then finally they got some eggs to hatch one year, and then the babies started to roll out. So they were down from like 3 babies to just 1 baby, and I was like, please build a retaining wall, like please. And then the 1 baby got about like this size, palm sized, but then it also fell out, but it didn't die. Okay, so I picked it up off the ground, put it in a shoebox with a bunch of stuff, little water, little birdseed, all sorts of things, and stuck it on, like, where the nest used to be, like, above the nest, you know, where it was up there. And I kind of feel like, because my neighbor hated them for shitting on our porch so much, but I was like, it's nature, bro, like, deal with it. And I kind of feel like he maybe swung, like, a broom up there to damage their nest, because it did look a little, like, you know, it was a wall, and it looked a little like this, and I feel like that's probably what caused it. I don't know for sure, so I can't really point the blame at him, but I feel like that's what happened. But at any rate, so I was really worried about the baby down there, so I kept checking on it, and then eventually I saw that the mom and dad were now, like, perched up in the shoebox, and they were taking care of their baby, and they did that all the way until the baby was big enough to fly on its own, and they flew away. They come around in the spring, they leave before it gets too hot, and they come in after, like, the last frost, so that's how I know that we're not getting any more freezes, because they show up. And then they come back to my porch, and now there's like 6 of them. Like last year there was only 4. So I was like, oh, the baby and the mom and dad came back. And it's probably not even the same ones. They're just following whatever pattern. I don't know how long they live. I can't imagine it's years and years and years. I should look that up. But then now this year we have 6 of them, and they all are like living in this apartment block now. Because obviously they can't all just stay on my porch, but that's where they live now. So they now sit outside my thing, and then they're not even afraid of me when I come outside. They used to be terrified and fly away, but now they don't even get afraid. They just watch me, and I watch them, and then we walk like this, very separate, from each other. Well, they sit on the rail. I walk around them very slowly. But yeah, they're mine now, and we're gonna a boss. Okay, much better. And then the slightly thicker border that we got allows us to wiggle around more. We're going to need to get a new piece of acetate in there. And then on the right side. Because I do want this to be a window. Although it's not going to be a pocket, I am going to close it. But I do want it to be window. So, don't move when I'm measuring. Oh my god. And again, I'm employing very scientific methods of measurement here. NASA would be proud. Oh my gosh, I am so excited with all this Artemis stuff going on. Like, so happy to have like a bit of like history being made without it being the most god-awful history possible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just happy to have like a moment of freaking brevity where I can breathe and be like, oh my gosh, look at, we're going to the moon. Like, so fun. Also just really loving like all of the responses and stuff for that that I'm seeing on social media as well. Add a little bit of glue in here just so it doesn't slide around. It won't really once we close up everything, but like there's no reason to not be thorough here. That's not going to matter because we're going to cover it up mostly. Okay, so this is the part we're going to glue to this. And we're going to start by adding some glue around the outside, not right up to the edge because I don't want it to squeeze all out and then get on the little plastic. That's probably too close, but it is a very thin bead of glue, so we shall see. You see, that little circle was totally worth it. Now we have a very shiny frame if I can line it up. All that work. Worth it. Okay. And then we can go in and seal it up. I listened to a horror story, like, rewrite of The Pied Piper of Hamlin, and I was like, oh, this is a horror story. The original fairy tale is a horror story and a cautionary tale. But I've seen a lot of, like, different horror interpretations for the Pied Piper and like what the Pied Piper is actually doing with all these kids and stuff, and it's never good. Okay, and sometimes it's more disturbing than others, but this one like sat with me to the point where I was like, do I do the Pied Piper storycraft and like tell the story and like give out the implications, or do I just leave it up in the air? And then the conclusion was I needed to go to bed. So that's what happened with that whole entire thought train. It did not go anywhere. But I might add it to my list because it is a very creepy story that gets a little bit more disturbing the more you think about it. Because like I don't know if you guys are very familiar with the tale, but like I remember the first time hearing it being like, oh, and then all the kids were going, okay. You know, and like there was like a creepiness factor, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't alarming. And I think it's just, you know, the nature of hearing a lot of different fairy tales where you're like, yeah, okay, that tracks. It's a story, it's all made up, it's fake, you know, so like you don't apply a lot of real world logic to it. I think, you know, also I heard it as a child too, so like I wasn't out here doing my Law and Order SVU number. But now, as an adult, when I hear that story, I'm like, oh God. Which is just another reminder that a lot of these fairy tales were not written for children. They were written for adults and told by adults to adults. And like sometimes, yeah, children might have been in the story. The story was not specifically designed for children. But there was like a very interesting thing that sort of added, especially when the Grimm brothers got involved. Because at first they were just sort of collecting the tales, but then they got a little bit like agenda-y with how they were delivering them, and they were like, oh, these need morals. We need to sort of alter how people are watching this because we don't want them to, you know, look at their mothers differently. So we're going to make everybody a stepmother, because moms can't be evil. And then they were like, okay, well, now we have to sort of dial this back a bit because this might actually be really popular among children. So we're going to change these stories a bit, even though they were already pretty grim. And then like their interpretation stayed really grim. They were like, yeah, so we're going to tell you guys this story for children. It's about how a girl gets her hands cut off and has to stretch out onto her tippy toes to eat fruit from the pear tree. And everybody be okay and really chill about that. At which point, what? You know? A weird measurement. So a CD envelope is 4 7/8. And it's a square, but, you know, for posterity, it is 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. I was thinking 4 3/4, but we might have to go 4 5/8. But let's cut to 4 3/4 and then see how it fits. It might be a very tight fit. That's what I'm worried about. Oh, I had to do a spider check today. Okay, double for posterity. And then I'm going to use my eyes because what if there's like an extra grippy one in there, you know? And then the black paper makes it come back. This paper is so cool. And I want to cut from the top because I do like this side a lot. So, 4 3/4. Save that. By 4 3/4. So let's see how this fits. I feel like it's going to be very tight. How did I do that? Apparently I got a drop of glue in here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, and I sealed it shut. How did I do this? Oh, I see how I did it. I was a bit cavalier gluing down my acetate. So, let's see. Is this going to be too tight? Oh no, that works. Okay, then we don't have to make any more cuts. And I like this. It's very pretty paper. but we're doing a spinny thing, right? So we've got to make it cool. And to do that, I need a straight piece of paper. Oh, I know. I have all these scraps. So I'm going to take my little dauber guy. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go corner to corner for this first one so that I get kind of an idea of center. And then I'm going to come in and make a stripe. And I don't want these to be like perfect, okay? So I'm gonna come here and fill in the spot. Maybe a little bit more centered than that, because that was not very to the center. It would help if I just marked the center, but no, I insist on eyeballing it. And then second verse, same as the first. And then kind of the same deal. We're going to come to the other side. And maybe this one will go off center. That doesn't work if you don't hold everything down. Okay. Oh, I went over the line. It's okay. We'll just smooth it out. I want this to be off, but it's going to work out in the end, in the long run. Here. To sort of add to the effect. Although I see where I have grievously erred in the making. So I'm going to try to correct it a little bit, and then whatever I don't correct here, I will fix with a paintbrush. Okay. I'm going to do one more. Yeah, I went super crooked right here, so that one I'm gonna have to fix, but I think it's gonna work. I'm trying to get like the down the rabbit hole vibe, but keeping it like off place and off center a bit, so that it's a little bit disconcerting. We got our white. That nice and coated. Could also do this with paint. Apparently the entirety of it was staticky. That's interesting. It's probably because I have embossing powder on my fingertips now. So, a bit of a cleanup is in order. Just fine. Okay, I was like, hold on a minute. Cool. Make a straight line, I dare you. Nope. Wobbly hand is wobbly. That was better. Am I better at making straight lines on the back like swing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I guess I am. Is it because I'm holding it, like, curved? Nope. It's just your fucked up hand. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to be wonky anyways. I'm just trying to understand how it's straighter this way. How does that make sense? Okay. That'll work for what I want it to do. And I could have been like neater and got like washi tape and laid out the lines all nice and perfect, but I didn't want to. I do have to remind myself to vacuum after this. I think I've dumped a lot of this extra embossing powder onto my floor right here. Here we go. Okay, so that's our little insert guy. And then I have these stencils that I bought forever and a day ago. They're Alice in Wonderland stencils. I think I've used them twice to do some art journal pages, and that was it. Part of me wants to just cheat and use the mask part, and I think I might, because I don't feel like cutting anything else out. See, I have like a bunch that I haven't even punched out yet. I have never used all of these. So, definitely got to change that. Ooh, get in there. Yeah, I think I made an art journal page, and then I decorated a book box for somebody and made an Alice in Wonderland book box. So I'm going to put her in there. But first, we got to color her in because she can't be craft color. I mean, she could. But she's not even craft colored. She's gray craft colored, which is different. So I'm going to get my big old Sharpie, and I'm going to color her black. So she's a proper silhouette. Do I have to do it directly on my surface? No. I wish these were dyes. That would be so great if they were dyes. Okay, you guys get the idea. You'll see in a second. Okay, so she's colored in. The fumes of Sharpie are slightly higher than they were before. I missed a tiny part of her bow. How did I do that? There we go. Okay. Sharpie fumes are back at normal levels. We're gonna glue her down. That's so much glue for her freaking foot. And then get her fixed up on here. And I will debate with myself on whether or not I'm going to add glitter to the inside of this CD envelope. I grabbed some just in case. And put her center. I was trying to make sure her face ends up on a white bit, so you can make it all the details. Look, she's a different color black than the rest of the background, so she already stands out a little bit, but she is black on white. So I'm going to give her a chance to be easily identified. We're going to slide this in here. Just like a smidge, right? I don't think it's going to be, it's not like a shaker card, so it's not going to be moving around doing stuffs. But it is going to be present and add a little bit of zarazzle dazzle. And of course this is the highly contagious version of glitter, so make sure that you're wearing your full biohazard hazmats when dispensing this type. Just a little tiny bit. That is a lot of it. I see the first in your plan to spread all over my craft room. That's all I wanted, was a little tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm going to return it to its containment. Hermetically sealed, and hope against hope that we have prevented the spread. Go to the other side. Across my craft room. You don't need to be in the center of everything just because you're glitter. I just wanted it to catch the light. And I think that's enough to do so. So I don't know if you guys can see. And then we're going to glue it shut because obviously we don't want to catch the plague and have them multiplying freely. And then, Folio. I'm going to come back, and we're going to glue this down to here. And then we're going to have our spinny piece. I'm going to come up to the edge with like a very thin, sheer bit of glue, and then I'll apply it more heavily towards the center. Because I don't want it to smoosh out and then smoosh under and then get stuck, and then we have to surgically remove it from the background. And we center. And it doesn't even have to be straight, it just has to be centered because it's going to spin, so you can make it straight if you put it on slightly off center. This is so fun. So I'm going to give it a second before I start doing crazy things. And make sure we get all the stuff stuck down nice. And then, boom. Our little Alice down the wonder hole. That's not what I was going to say. Down the rabbit hole. The Wonder Hole is an entirely different film. That's our little spinny Alice element. How fun is this? This is so fun. I imagined this part first, honestly, you guys. I had the CD envelope in hand first. Before I started doing the folio. So I already knew that like this is what I wanted. I had no idea how the rest of the folio was gonna come out. But like there we go. We got our little thing. We got some journaling cards, some tags to go in there. This is recycled from my pet food box. We've got our big spot right here with the Cheshire Cat. A little giant tag to go there. And then we have another pocket with another card and another tag. We used up basically all the scraps. I'll show you what scraps I have left outside of that one piece I just cut. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I'll show you what I got left. So, minus the pieces from the cover, which are still in the scrapbook thing. Ooh, I just pulled that up there. Don't do that. It flips out here. It opens up over there, so there's even more stuff to see. And we just got like a fun little like thing that you could add a couple pictures to, do a little journaling in. Maybe write about your own golden afternoon. Come on, hand. Here we go. Ah, see, now I folded it up, so it's going to do that forever. And then I'll go with that. That closes. That's the back. Oh, I didn't put a thing on the back. Never fear. Okay. Hold on. I forgot that I said I was going to cover up the back. Let's see. Work with me, not against me. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. Would have been embarrassed for forgetting such a pivotal moment, a pivotal part. This like creamy orangey color is really pretty too. And I wish more of the papers had this, because I don't think there's a lot of them that had this color. I think this color was like an accent color on a lot of the pages, like especially the multi green and pink ones, but it wasn't a feature. And then what do we add to this to make it complete? I'm looking over here. I could add like a little strip. I don't have many that are long enough to do like a full frame. So, would that go anywhere? Oh, I could make it like a little, okay, hold on. You know, like a little photo tuck spot thing. Okay. Ink, 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 ink. Sorry, I'm trying to wrap this up because we're at an hour, which was longer than I anticipated. But also, I want this to be the last part. The last part needs to be the last part. And then, instead of gluing all the way across, we're just going to do a little at the ends here. And then stick it down. So that you can tuck a photo in. I always forget about these as like an option. But yeah, now you can like tuck something in here and there. Stretch a little photo across there. Or like a journaling card or something fun. I mean, I could turn this into said journaling card, but I don't want to. So, anyways, so then we have a closure, which will wrap around. It'll keep the cover secure. And then we can do this. Or, it just occurred to me, I could leave this free, and this free, and then give it a tie, which might actually be cuter than trying to just be like, here, wrap it around to the back, because I didn't measure. I just tore a chunk of sari silk out of the bunch, out of my hank. There we go. So yeah, there's our Alice in Wonderland folio. Thank you. Served your purpose. And yeah, there's that. And I like just a little bit of like holographics here, a little bit of shinies. Now it's too dark. It was just reflecting on everything. I like the little bit of holographics because I think it makes it sort of look a little bit more like down to Wonderland and not down the wonder hole. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey. of Go Ask Alice JJ. That's the hashtag that I've been following. Make sure you check out everybody else. I'll put the full playlist of these in the description, so if you want to follow along, if you're just now joining me and you missed the first parts, you want to see those, they'll all be in a playlist linked down below in the description, as well as links to, or tags to Audrey at Odds and Ends and Dawn at Mystic Dawn Art, so you can see their channels because they're the hosts of this hashtag challenge thingamabob that we're doing here in April. So yeah, that's gonna be it for you guys. I am tired, so I'm gonna go have another cup of coffee and see what else I can get into. Until then, guys, I appreciate your faces. Happy crafting and goodbye.